Welcome back to another episode of the Hero Club podcast. Got your hosts, Brett McPeters, co-founder and head of agents of Hometown Heroes.
And then the co-host, I'm Micah Howell, co-founder of Hometown Heroes and CEO. So today we're here with Jack. Jack was our first agent to start at Hometown Heroes. We wanted to bring him on here and just talk a little bit about his experience with NIL, with Hometown Heroes, and just kind of what interested him in that stuff. So Brett or Jack, you want to give us a short little intro to that?
How's it going, everybody? My name is Jack Brown. I'm a junior at the University of Georgia studying sports management.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs, as always. Bama fan over here. But yeah, sports management major. I'll graduate next year, but yeah, glad to be on the podcast with them.
You know, there's only one flag in this.
Sad for now. We'll fix it. Give us a year.
Yeah, well, you'll see. Dogs, by this time, Dogs have already won the national championship, so.
Ooh, that might not age well.
Oh.
Nah, it won't. All right, well, so Jack, sports management major, grew up playing sports. Jack and I actually played baseball together when we were like 5, till through when we were little, all the way up until about high school.
Yeah.
And then we played against each other. We won. My high school usually won, thankfully. But yeah, so what going into college, what made you want to be a sports management major? What made you want to work in athletics, agent, whatnot?
Yeah, so I mean, like you said, growing up, I always grew up playing sports, played basketball, baseball, football for a little bit. I don't know, just once I got to college and I quit playing sports, I always felt like I had that piece missing from me of the sports life. So I figured if I get into the agency or join sports management major, I'll always have that piece of athletics in me. So I figured I could make a pretty big difference, help out a little bit.
Do you think, like, I mean, a lot of kids' dreams when sports comes to an end for everybody at some point. A lot of kids, I know me at one point in my life at some time, I thought about, oh, it'd be cool to be a sports agent one time. You think, like, kids that think that now or adults that think that now is that it might not be on the bigger scale of everybody else in the MLB or NFL or whatnot, but is it what you thought it would be? Is it different? Tell us a little bit about what you think of it now.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I definitely thought about being a sports agent growing up, but it never seemed something to be like, I don't know, for me, attainable. I don't know. I just kind of had that thought process. But once I got in touch with these guys and we started working together, it's definitely something that is very, very interesting to work in. It's a lot of learning experience, but we're getting there. It's been good.
Y'all are tripping if y'all ever thought that you were going to be an agent. I always thought I was going to be the player. I thought I was going to be represented. So, then we got to about 9th grade and I stopped growing. So everybody else caught up. My high school state championship ring, it's fun to have, but it doesn't come with a guaranteed scholarship.
You're telling me at some point you didn't think, okay, what am I going to do? I mean, so you're telling me you thought you were going to have like a 30-year NFL career and then just be able to break the bank after and you'd be totally fine and never have to work another day in your life?
When I was 180-pound 6th grader, that's absolutely.
That's fair.
Absolutely.
That's fair.
Thought never crossed my mind, but I was not about to be the next Aaron Donald.
Well, see, the difference between you and me is, and Jack can attest to this, my freshman year, I turned 15 years old. On my permit, my driver's permit, 5'5", 105 pounds. I'm not a small guy now. I'm about 6'1"-ish.
You always round up an inch.
I'm 6'1", all right? But, I mean, dude, I was literally the smallest guy ever. And I did not grow until my junior, senior year. So there was always the thought of future plans. Because nowadays, and we see this a lot in the business we're in now, you literally have to be getting recruited in like freshman year, before, especially baseball, dude. Like these guys are literally getting recruited when they're below 15 years old. Like you don't,
you don't get perfect game camps whenever you're 12 years old playing on the travel ball team that you've been on for 6 years.
Right? I worked for Perfect Game for one summer and did like the diamond cast stuff behind the plate. Dude, they literally, these guys, I would stand under tents with 4 or 5 college scouts for 15-year-old tournaments, and they were throwing harder than guys I faced my senior year of high school.
Oh yeah,
Doesn't make sense.
it's nuts what people do now. I played travel ball for 1 year, and it rocked my world. There's a reason I stuck to football.
Hey, hardest thing to do in sports is baseball.
I stand by that as well.
It's a fact, kids.
I think it's to hit a golf ball straight, but do
Dude,
stand by that.
golf is definitely the hobby now. So golf is very hard. I think golf is one of the top hardest sports. But a round ball and a round bat, moving, spinning, and coming at 95 plus mile an hour, virtually impossible. And they make it look easy.
The stat that kills me every time with baseball is you can fail 7 out of 10 times and still be a Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer.
It's the weirdest stat, but that just shows how hard baseball can
Dude,
be.
it's a different mindset too. Like we talk about so much about how many different sports are mind games, especially I think golf is one of the biggest mind games because you're playing by yourself, not a team sport. But think about the fact that you can fail 70% of the time and be successful. Your average person is not okay with failing 70% of the time and being
I can even attest to that for myself. I had not a good attitude with baseball, failing 7 out of 10 times. I always wanted to be perfect, and that's just not how a person is in baseball.
No.
So
it's not easy.
not at all.
Anyway, that was our little sports spiel for you. A little reminiscing, as we like to call it. So back to our personal business side of things. We like to talk about a lot of different things on this podcast, but a lot of the reason why we started this, as you guys know, is the company that we started together and that we're working on and put all of our time and effort, blood, sweat, and tears in. So what about Hometown Heroes made you really want to come work there, work with us? Just the business, everything about it. Tell us a little bit about that.
So, I mean, as an athlete growing up, I understand the time commitment. And that's one thing. I didn't play athlete or sports in college, so I don't even understand that amount of time commitment. But being that middleman to help out an athlete be able to focus on their actual athletics and their school without having to deal with, because NIL is such a new industry. I mean, everybody's just kind of learning as we go along. So helping out an athlete as much as we can just caught my eye. And I mean, these guys' attitudes towards running the company is incredible. So it's definitely something I was interested in, and luckily I got on with them.
Yeah, I mean, NIL as a whole there's a reason they refer to it as the Wild Wild West.
Absolutely.
It not only changes every day, but I mean, it's not only do the rules change, but the trends, the standards, everything about it just changes, and not only changes in your school or your state, it changes nationwide, or changes just based on the team, or someone's social media following blows up overnight, and all of a sudden they are. I mean, Jalen Hyatt, whenever he had his massive game against Alabama, his social media following blew up, and then because of that, his NIL valuation blew up like $200,000. And so, just the way that things like that can change overnight is ridiculous.
And something that Micah and I like to talk about a lot, and one of the main reason why we started this podcast, because we want to give some insight into what we do and what we love and what we're learning about every day, but also I feel like there's a really big stigma when it comes to NIL, and like your average person that doesn't know a ton about the industry, when you hear NIL, you think, okay, people like Arch Manning, for example, they think of, oh, Arch Manning got paid $1 million by Texas, whatever. I don't know the number, but just an example, like they think of boosters writing a check to an athlete, and it's, as we know, so much more than that. Like there's so many opportunities for the athlete, for the business, for people like us, a bunch of college kids starting a company and trying to be successful in it. Like and hopefully through this, we can help kind of shed some light on what that looks like, and a lot of different opportunities that it can present itself for a number of different people.
Yeah, I mean, you see the back to the number of, that's what you see when Nico Nico committed to Tennessee, the quarterback, he got the number that came out was $7 million. I don't know the details on that, but I mean that's what people think of when they think of NIL, and NIL has surpassed over $1 billion industry by this point, and I mean 1/3 of that I think is a statistic that comes through collectives, but then the other 2/3 it's going through deals, it's going through agents, it's going directly to athletes. I mean whatever's in that, it's you hear those big numbers and you hear the big players, but there's so much more that doesn't follow along with that.
And there's so many options for like, I mean, I feel like we've seen a lot more probably with other companies that we've seen because we're still really trying to get our foot in the door, but so many different types of deals with people like, I'm trying to think of what the weirdest deal I've ever seen.
I mean, we've done deals that, I mean, autograph signings in stores or just, I mean, a giveaway on social media or, I mean, all kinds of things that you can tag in and kind of help out with that.
Hendon Hooker.
The French's mustard one?
Mustard. What? Yeah. That's sick, dude. Dude, did you see his shoes? Dude, the Air Force One.
They had like the mustard.
Did you see that? Yeah, it was customized Air Force Ones that from what was the company again?
French's Mustard.
French's Mustard.
No, but you know the reason behind it?
No.
So last year Tennessee had a game where after they won it, they threw a whole bunch of mustard bottles on the field.
The fans did.
The fans did.
Oh, that's great.
There's this thing. No, but they don't sell French's mustard. I don't know how true this is, but I heard this one time. Apparently, they don't sell French's mustard in Neyland Stadium. So it was like an organized thing that whenever they won, their fans brought all of this French's mustard.
That's fantastic.
So that's where the deal came from. I mean, this is why I love NIL, is because there's so many just like cool things like that you can do that nobody knows about. You look at Dakota's Crawford signed with a
AC unit. Dude, all right,
company.
and like when you have the coolest name in college football history, like you got to maximize on something like that.
I mean, Alabama Kool-Aid McKendry, he signed with Kool-Aid, like that's sick. So
I think one of the craziest deals we've seen, it was just last December or past December, the Cheez-It Bowl. Every single room was a Cheez-It box, basically. Yep. I mean, bed.
What was that, Florida State?
Yeah, it was a couple different teams, but I mean, that was just, I can't imagine waking up in a room and it's just all red and orange and you feel like you're in a Cheez-It box. It's just, I don't know what that would be like, but
dude, they had like gear with it too. Yeah. I think I saw that there were like slides on the floor that was literally Cheez-It branded. That's so
crazy.
Sick. What's Jack, for you, what's some of your favorite NIL deals that you've seen for, I mean, I know we just talked about the weirdest, but like for us and deals that you've orchestrated and in our company and with the athletes or whatever that may be?
Well, see, that's the thing. Like with all these NIL deals, you really do learn a lot about a company. So recently we did a deal with Moolah Kicks. And one thing when we were speaking to their director of marketing, she explained to us that a female shoe or a female's foot is different. And I think she said it was 5 different places.
Yeah.
And so their shoe was specifically made for a woman's foot. And I don't know. I mean, it's just a very cool thing that they have going on. They explained it very well to us. And it's a lot of women or female athletes are all about it. So
because usually women buy men's basketball shoes, right? Like there's no like main shoe company for women's feet, right?
And that's something that I didn't know. I had no idea that a woman's foot was different. And so I had no idea they were buying men's shoes, and that's how so many injuries were coming about. Yeah. So it's
Jack, I remember you and I were on that call and she was explaining to us the difference between like a men's shoe and a men's foot and a women's foot. And she was like, yeah, it's different in 5 different places. And in my mind, like it just never would have clicked that there wouldn't be shoes made for that.
Yeah.
And so their founder came out and made a shoe different for that. And so, and that's, I mean, they do so many different NIL deals in so many different ways. And so being able to follow along and see what they've done in that and kind of their reasoning behind it.
Right.
Super sick.
I was about to say, it's awesome to learn about the different like visions behind the companies and their products and what it stands for. But I think that's been one of the coolest parts about reaching out to companies, talking to them and all, and just hearing their stories. Because a lot of these companies too, I feel like I know with Moolah Kicks, they were both athletes. Yeah. They played basketball in college. I mean, that's where it came from, but it's just cool to hear their stories.
Yeah. I like them. We worked with Ultra Ankle, the way that they do their deals, they'll send you, I mean, I don't know any other company who believes in their product quite as much as Ultra Ankle does. So they send their product to the athletes and then they want them to wear it in games. They want it to, I mean, any appearance or any social media post or But I mean, it's because like they truly believe that it works better than any other ink press
Right.
on the market.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, it's cool to hear their background, hear their stories, but then like also just see the passion that these companies have for their product and then be able to help them promote it.
Right.
For sure.
So, I mean, that's one of my favorite parts of our company, of being able to do what we do. So,
I definitely have my number one. I don't know about deal done, but number one name of a company that we have come into contact with is Squishy.
Oh yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
great branding, man. It's literally like the lips, like squishy. It's great branding, dude. Like,
It's great branding.
was it their like yoga pants and like women's
Yeah.
like workout gear? And I think their slogan is "Keep it squishy."
Yeah, it's keep it squishy.
I love that. Dude. That's so good. That's so good. And I think, let's see, reminiscing. I think our first big deal that kind of got us on the market and started was Roback.
yeah.
I think that was one of my favorites to orchestrate, honestly, probably just because it's like I remember we got in touch with the guy that helps run the Roback U program. They've got tons of athletes. They do a great job over there. But I remember when we first got in contact with him and we set up a call, and great guy we met with, super passionate about what he does and was really kind to us and helping us get started. But I'll never forget that feeling, because it was like he told us at the time, I think we had like 18 to 20 athletes, somewhere around that range. And he was like, look, man, we'll take them all, everything else. And I wanted to be like, dude, what? No way. And he was like, yeah, man, like, and any athletes that you guys get after that, like, bring it in the door, just sign them into our program and we'll get you started. I'm like, dude, this is wow. That was the we made it moment. Like, oh my gosh, that was so cool.
It was the we made it moment. It was also, I mean, like the vision behind Hometown Heroes and the reason it's named Hometown Heroes is, in Roback believes in it too, and that's the exact same way. The reason they run their program that way is your value doesn't come from your social media following or the school that you play for. I mean, your value is in who you are, in the sport that you play. It's in your friends, your family, the people that you're connected to, and Roback believes in that. And so the fact that was also our first big deal, I mean, that was the greatest way that it could have gone. Storybook ending for sure.
And with, I mean, I think we've talked about this before with you guys, but a lot of the way that we try and separate ourselves as a company, our core values, where we come from, why we do it, in the NIL industry, is we really want to make it even playing field for everybody in this industry when it comes to whether it's our UCLA basketball player or it's, I mean, whatever it may be. We've got JUCO, we've got Division II, Division III, D1. Like we really try and create a space where everybody can create value for themselves. And that's why I love so much about Roback, is they really make a space where that's possible. So that was a big moment for us, for sure.
Yeah. Shout out. Maybe we can get Roback to the sponsor one day.
This podcast. You heard it here first. Beginning of it.
So real cool. Well, Jack, I mean, we've talked about just kind of your growing up and your background and then your time here at Hometown Heroes, but what would you say kind of is your dream? So the way I always phrase it when I ask people is, if you could do whatever you wanted to tomorrow and knew that you would not fail, what would you go do?
That's a great question. You know, I feel like I go back and forth on this. I go day to day. Like today, I would love to be a PGA golfer one day.
No, it's me every day.
Tomorrow, you know, maybe I'd like to coach an MLB team. But in all seriousness, I mean, just working in the sports industry is something of great interest to me. And I think that's my dream in the end, staying within sports. I hope to coach my kids one day in sports. And yeah, disclaimer, I do not have kids right now. In the future, kids.
Easy on the nose. Anyway, but yeah, no, I think it's kind of funny sometimes, because I think back to when I first started my major is sports management. And when people always ask about the sports, like what you study, I think this sports management is one of my least favorite things to say, even though that's what I love. It's what I want to be a part of. But I think people think it's just like the easy way out of college. But they're like, I just love to think about how much opportunity, money, people, business that is in the sports that we love. And that is all across the board.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm a management major, and looking back on it, if I could restart tomorrow, I would probably go with sports management. Just because, like, that's what I'm passionate about. Like, I grew up on some kind of field or sport every single day.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to go away from that. I love doing what I do now on the business side of sports, but I mean, like, one of my dreams would probably be like to own an NFL team. Like, I think that would be so sick.
Would be cool.
And so I don't want to get away from that. I think sports management would have been right up my alley, and I just missed the opportunity early on.
Is your role model Mark Cuban?
Low key.
Entrepreneur and sports team owner.
No, like, this is entirely true. If I could just live Mark Cuban's life, if I could go own the Dallas Mavericks and then go on Shark Tank after that.
I was about to say, this is the newest pitch. We literally just go up to Shark Tank and tell Mark Cuban that our goal is to be him. Mark Cuban, if you ever listen to this, we're coming for you.
You're ready.
No, but yeah, dude, it is cool. And I think a big misconception about sports management is people just hear sports though. Like they don't like, I guarantee you I've taken every single class that you have as a management major. Like I guarantee you, well, I shouldn't say every single, but like, I mean, it's a business major. Like the like my last semester, I took marketing management, information systems of business. Like it's not a just chillax major that you just like learn about like who won the last Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, your classes are just slightly more specific than mine are.
Yeah,
mine are just
right.
like very general as far as how to lead people or manage a business or finances or things like that. And yours are how to lead athletes or how to
for sure
make revenue based off of that stuff.
And like you said, I mean, when people ask us like what our major is, I feel like at first I was almost a little embarrassed to say sports management because, like you said, everybody thinks it's easy way out. But with NIL now emerging, I mean, sports management is one of the best degrees you can be in right now.
In our field? Heck
oh,
yeah,
absolutely. Man. And we had a guest speaker come to one of my classes. It was just a little lecture. And he was one of the first people that got in NIL. And he was just going through talking about all the deals that he's done and just the type of industry and how much it's worth and everything. And like you said, it's best time to be a sports management major. And we have a lot of opportunities ahead of us to take advantage of. So do sports management.
Dude, there's been $1 billion industry in NIL. It's popped up in 2 years. In sports. You're gonna tell me this is not one of the best majors to be in?
No joke.
So, I mean, if I could still switch over and graduate on time, I'd switch to sports management.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's not hard to switch from sports management to like a management or a regular marketing degree or management or regular business degree because you already have the same core classes.
Yeah.
But switching from business to sports management is harder and takes longer because they're, like you said, there's more specific.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good time.
Issue. Well, Jack, we appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah, I'm glad y'all had me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll see you on the team meeting on Monday morning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, sweet man, you take care.
You guys
listen today. Make sure you go out there, buy some of our merch. You got Brett and Jack repping it.
Same one.
Failed today. Yeah.
Somebody didn't catch the memo. Dude, me and Jack literally match everywhere we go. It's black hat, similar hoodie, if not the same, it's the same color. And we happen to keep wearing the same color pants. Maybe I just need to text him tonight.
That'd be cute. You have to start organizing. Lay out your clothes in the morning.
No, that's unnecessary. But you guys check back in 2 Mondays from now. We'll be back with another episode. So thank you guys for listening. Come back for more later on.